Hey Bookaholics, welcome to another video. So today is St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day to you and all your family. Today is just going to be a little bit different. I don't know what to do for St. Patrick's Day, but I know I wanted to do something, so I just found all the books that were green and I'll just talk about them. There's actually a lot of books that are green in this list, so we'll just get right into it. So one thing you might notice is my makeup. So I try to do my makeup like I did on Valentine's, very festive, which I don't know if it comes across because it's just around my eyes. They don't pop out too well. So I'm hoping you guys can appreciate it and I hope you like it. So let's just get right into it. So some of these books I have never really mentioned this besides maybe my book tour, but rarely do I talk about these books. So we'll see how this goes. The first book I'm going to talk about is Wolfsbane by Andrea Kremer. This book I got a long time ago. I really liked how the pages, because they're like those kinds of pages. I read this a long time ago. It's the second book in the Nightshade series. It's about werewolves. It follows a girl, and I know there's like a love triangle. Like there's the person who's also a werewolf who is like says to be destined to be her mate, and then there's another one who is a human who she finds in the woods somehow in Nightshade. I don't know too much about this book, but it's green, so I decided to talk about it, and I really liked it when I read it. I read it in high school, and I don't know if I'll ever read it again, but I think they're really pretty. Next one, which a lot of people would know about this book because they're made into a movie, but that is Insurgent by Veronica Roth. This is also the second book in the Divergent series. I don't really remember too much about it. I know what happens in Divergent, not really what happens here. I know that they escape people and things happen. That's literally all I can remember about this book. But yeah, I do have this book, so next book, which I only have, this is also the second book in the series. I don't know why all these books, the second books in the series are green, but that's what they decided to do. But that one is Linger by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the only book I have of it. I do have the ebooks of the whole series, but I do want to get the actual copies because that's all I have to say. They are green writing in here, so that is just amazing. So that's why I want to get all of them, because Shiver is blue, which has blue writing, and then the last one, which I can't remember the name of, is red, so it has red coloring. I did like them. I read them in high school as well. My brother got me the e-reader, and they just happen to be the ones I got first, but that is all I'm going to say about that. Next one I'm going to talk about is one I recently read in January, which is The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. This one is definitely one of my favorite books this year so far. It's very dark, very serious, and just very real and raw, which I really, really appreciate. It follows a girl named Alex. Her sister is raped and killed by this person. The person ends up being let off and roams free because they didn't have enough evidence, and she ends up taking it into her own hands. It's about 3 years after that, and it just follows her after that, and it is just such a powerful read about rape culture and just dealing with a lot of serious things that are discussed in this, like feminism, deals with rape, it deals with even just mental illness, it deals with a lot. So it's a very, very powerful read, which I highly, highly recommend. And it is green, kind of greenish yellow, but I really want to talk about it, so I decided to put it in here. Next one I'm going to talk about, which again isn't quite green, but it's really no other color that I can think of. Like it could be black, but again it's not really that either, so I decided to put in green as well, so I'm going to talk about it. But that is These Things Hidden by Heather Gutenkopf. This is an adult book. I read it when I was in high school as well, so I don't remember too much about it, but I know it is kind of like a thriller. Someone goes missing, I believe. Let me just read this part because I can't quite remember, and I did really like this book. So Alice and Glenn tried to hide what happened that night and failed. The consequence, a prison sentence. Now she's free, but secrets have a way of keeping you locked up. When teenager Allison Glenn is sent to prison for a heinous crime, she leaves behind her reputation as Linden Falls Golden Girl forever. Her parents deny the existence of their once perfect child. Former friends exult in her downfall. Her sister Bryn faces whispered rumors every day in the hallways of their small Iowa high school. It's Bryn, shy, quiet Bryn, who carries the burden of what really happened that night. All she wants is to forget Allison and the past that haunts her. But then Allison is released to a halfway house and is more determined than ever to speak with her estranged sister. Now their legacy of secrets is focused on one little boy, and if the truth is revealed, the consequences will be unimaginable for the adoptive mother who loves him, the girl who tried to protect him, and the two sisters who hold the key to all that is hidden. It is a strong book. I know it was powerful. I know it was a really, really impacting book. book, and I really enjoyed it. The next one is also part of a series, and I believe this is the third book. That one is Sever by Lauren DeStefano. This one, I kind of remember what it's about, but not quite. I know that the first book follows twins. They get separated when the girl twin is kidnapped and brought into this mansion and is pretty much prostituted out to this boy who is pretty much marrying more than one person. They're doing this because twins' parents actually came up with a cure that would eliminate all illnesses like cancer, and so all those people lived for a very long time. But then their kids die when they get to 21 for girls, I believe, and 25 for boys. So yeah, that's pretty much what this series follows, and I don't remember too much. I know this has a lot of controversy around it. A lot of people don't like it because of the fact of the marriage aspect of it. I can understand why it would have that much effect, but again, there are people who practice that. I can't remember all the controversy around it. I haven't read this book for a while, so if I read it again, maybe I'll have a different thought about it. But I did read this in high school as well, so yeah, but that's the other book I have. Next green one is Matched by Ali Condi. Again, this one doesn't have much of a good reputation on BookTube, and honestly, I can't remember why. I know I read this, I read the whole series, and honestly, I don't remember much about it. I just know that they get matched and that they have to be with that person who they match with. Something about her liking one person and she doesn't get matched with him but get matched with someone else, and all this stuff happens that I don't really remember. I don't know if I'll ever read it again, but we'll see when it comes to it, I guess. Next one, which I read last year, and it was popular on BookTube at some point, but it's not really talked about anymore, but that was Splintered by A.G. Howard. I really love the cover of this one. I just love the cover of this one. This one I did enjoy. I know some people don't. It goes into the Alice in Wonderland world, and it follows the girl who's the granddaughter of Alice, so I like that aspect of it. I really did like that, and the world was just a little different, and she could hear bugs and all this stuff. I'm kind of interested in continuing the series, but I don't know when it will ever actually happen, because I'll only finish it once I get the other books, and I haven't got them yet, so we'll see how it goes. Next one I'm going to talk about, which I haven't actually read yet, but I hope to get it to it soon, is A Court of Wings and Ruin. I have not read this book yet because I haven't read the second book yet. It is green, so I have nothing else to say, but it is green, so yay. Next one I'll talk about is The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. This one was recommended to me by Haley from Haley and Bookland, and I did really enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. I like the characters. I like the friends dynamic in this. I like the relationship between Andy and her father, the eventually reconciliation between them, and I did like the love story as well. I know some people say that a little bit long for what it is, which I can agree with, but I still really enjoyed reading it, so I think it was good. And like the cover, man. The cover is just so pretty because it's puppies. It's all puppies. I really love it for that. And also a poster. So you gotta appreciate that. Sorry if it's moved a little bit. My camera decided to run out of space and I had to transfer all that into my computer, and then my auntie called me for lunch, and then all this stuff happened. So I am back though now, so let's get right into it. The next one I'm going to talk about is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, the first book in this Mortal Instruments series. So yeah, it's green. And it is a really good book. Pretty much everyone in BookTube know what this series is about, so I'm not going to talk about it, because if you don't know what it's about, then you're living under a rock. Next one I'm going to talk about is a book that I read last year, which is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. Now, this one doesn't quite look green, like the title's green, but the spine is green. So we're going to talk about this one. This one I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed this book. It was so cute, and I just really loved the dynamic between Eliza and Wallace. They were adorable, how they kind of bond through the Monster Sea, and then she's actually the creator of Monster Sea, and she kind of doesn't know how to reveal that to him because he is one of the most popular fan fiction writers of it. I've really enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 4.5 stars. Also, it's all about fandom and all that kind of stuff, so I really enjoy reading stuff about that. So yeah. Next one I'm going to talk about, which everyone should know about this series, is Harry Potter, and this one's The Chamber of Secrets, which in this cover is all green. I really love these covers. They are just gorgeous. I really enjoy this cover, and if you have been living on a rock and don't know about this, go watch the movies or go read the books. because everyone knows about these. So I'm not going to explain it, but it's green, so I want to talk about it. Next one I'm going to talk about is Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief. This is the first book, and unfortunately this got ripped off. It is green as well, and this is the first book in the series of the Percy Jackson, and it's like one of the first series that Rick Riordan wrote. These are just great. I really enjoyed reading them. I took a while to read this book. To read this series. Like, I bought it probably 3 years before I decided to read it. So calculate that, I would have bought it about 2013. I didn't read it until 2016. Next one I'm going to talk about, which you probably were expecting this one to come up eventually, but that is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This is one of my favorite books after I got into college. Like, I bought this during when I was in college and university, and it was just one of the best books to read when you're transitioning from high school to college. It is just such a good book to read, and I just fell in love with this book. I gave it 5 out of 5. I read it again when I started BookTube, and it is just still so freaking fantastic, and I can see how some people might not be able to relate to it if they read it while they're in high school, if they read it after college was done, but like when you read it during college, it just connects to you in such a deeper level, and you're able to connect to it and relate to it so much more, and I just absolutely love this book. It really kind of just gave me perspective that everyone has a different experience in college and they cope with it in different ways. I really love this book, and it's just so fantastic. Next one I'm going to talk about is Plain Truth by Jodi Picoult, which is because it is green. This one, I do remember reading it. It follows a girl who is in an Amish family, and she ends up getting pregnant, and she gives birth to the baby, I think in her farm, like the actual barn, and leaves the baby there, and it dies. It's a bit of a heavy read, and the reporter who ends up going there is doing research on this tragedy, goes to the Amish and kind of learns the Amish ways, and it's very good. And what I really love about this is that Jodi Picoult actually did that experience. She went to go live with the Amish family and did research that way and learned about the Amish family, and I love that she does that much research into her own books and is able to get actual experience of doing it, just like her main character does. So I love it that much more, and I love Jodi Picoult in that way because she does put everything into her book. Next one I'm going to talk about is My Not-So-Perfect Life by Sophie Kinsella. This one is not necessarily my favorite book of hers, but it was still really relatable to me because the main character always wanted to live in London. I've always wanted to live in New York, which London and New York are very similar cities, very artistic. London is definitely more fashion, while New York is more artsy and drama and stuff like that, but they both have that connection to the art world and art culture, and I just love that she wanted to live in London just like I want to live in New York, and that's what really connected me to the character in this book. So the next one is Salem Falls by Jodi Picoult. Now this one doesn't quite look green. So I picked this one for that. So this one, it follows an ex-teacher who was accused of being sexually involved with a student that just had a very big crush on him, and kind of just ruins his life. And it kind of follows him as he goes to this new place at Salem Falls, and I can't quite remember it. I know it was made into a movie, it was, but I can't remember exactly what all goes on in here. I watched the movie, it was okay, it had Zac Efron in it, so that's something. I can't remember too much about this one. Next one I'm going to talk about is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This one again, because it's green. This one I read not too long ago as well, and I really love this book. Based in the 1800s when Jack the Ripper was around. It was just fantastic, and I loved it, and I would highly recommend it. It follows a girl, Audrey Rose, who is working with her uncle, who works with dead people and like investigates them and figures out what happened. She kind of joins that. Her dad doesn't really want her to. He's very protective, overprotective. She does it anyways and is very strong-willed and very feminist, and I just really love this book. It was so good, and I can't wait to read the second one, Hunting Prince Shockula. The last book I'm going to talk about is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. Now this one, not originally a green cover, it's originally black, but this is the Owl Crate version and they have it as green. So this one is all about fairy tales. It follows a girl whose grandma wrote a lot of fairy tale books, and her mom ends up going missing, and she ends up learning that the Hazelwood is actually real from her grandma's stories, and she ends up going into the world with a person who is obsessed with the fairy tale stories that her grandma wrote, and they go together into this world to find her mom. So yeah, that's what this book is about, and that's all I really have to say about it because I haven't read it yet. That was a lot of green books. I did not, when I thought about doing this video, I did not think I would have that many green books, but apparently I did. So yeah, but that is all all the books that I'm going to talk about. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below all your favorite green books or your favorite thing about St. Patrick's Day, whether that's drinking way too much or just going out with friends or dressing up or whatever you like to do. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Check out my other social media accounts, my Facebook, Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram. I make a video every Thursday, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye!